defensively led and offense struggling. That shit crazy.
Let's go.
Oh, my other phone gonna die soon. I'm ready to post this shit.
Hard knock life for us. To her, block.
The premier. The premier. The pre-fucking mirror. There we go. iPhone's activated. On its way back on. Bless you. Bless the blessed.
This nigga young can't just text me. You hear me?
Yep. I got it.
Take the baseline out.
Ravens lead.
The premiere season 1, episode 1. Welcome to Charm City. Hey man, I'm about to try a new series. We're gonna bring it back. It's an old but goodie. Definitely try and bring back the Hard Knocks series. Alright, it's a 2-part to this thing right now, man. What I'm gonna do is at the end of each show, Max will pick the next team that we'll do. Season 1, episode 1. We're doing Welcome to Charm City. Obviously, we're in the Baltimore Ravens. We're gonna talk about the team. We're gonna talk about what they're building, what they look like, what their record is, how their success is going or not success, what we feel like they're going to turn into. It's all about what you doing with your team. So the conversation will go through us talking and questioning certain things, asking questions, talking about what we see in your development of your team. And then the second part of it will be a video along with it. We're working on that as we speak. I did tell you guys that will be part of our league this year, where we'll be making videos as well to go along with your Hard Knocks series. So it's almost like what they do in real life with the Hard Knocks. We'll have some game footage behind it. So bear with us right now. This is the front part of it where, we're talking about the team itself. And then, the second stage of it will be once Mrs. Goodell get everything lined up and get everything together, we will have video footage to go along with it. Some of your gameplay, big time plays, a couple highlights, things like that, to go along with what you're doing with your team this year. The plan is to get through every team while we're still in Game of Thrones. It will carry over the real draft as well. But right now, Max, we are welcome to Charm City and his Baltimore Ravens team, man. Season 3. This team has been one of the better teams in the league, but yet they've lost in the AFC Championship and in the wild card rounds of Season 1 and Season 2. There's a little bit of roster move over with this team. It starts and ends with offensively with Lamar Jackson. The one thing Ozzy and the GMs did over here, Costa and things like that, what they did over here, they wanted to build an agile offensive line to go along with their agile quarterback. Max, I think they did that.
I definitely think they did. Many of the weapons they have from Lamar's age, not afraid to play the weapons. Only shipped out a couple offensive stars, but had solid backups, if not better, ready to kind of like fill play and take on that Ravens way. And I think in doing that, they've kind of just put more confidence in their quarterback as the shot caller out there.
Yeah, I think you just explained it at the castle. It's the Ravens way, right? And the Ravens way is solid defense, man. They want to play outstanding defense and with a controlled offense right now. But I think this team is built with a great defense. When you talk about the Baltimore Ravens, the first thing you're going to think of is their defense and their front seven and what they're doing. Let's start with the best player on defense, with Odafe Oweh, man. What has he brought to the table to help this Ravens defense get back to that 2000 defense when they were considered one of the better defenses to ever lace them up?
I think he just instills the proper fear for not only the quarterback but for the offensive tackle. And that every down worry of where is that guy, identify him, kind of like the Ray Lewis feel, but on the whole other spectrum as far as like he's not a middle linebacker, he's a pass rusher with that same fear.
Yeah, I think with Odafe Oweh right now, he's up for MVP. Right now he's in the race. This will be his third year in the race of MVP of the league. He's been outstanding. And the pieces that the Ravens put around him, the first thing they did was they built that front four on defense. And with a lot of solid players that make plays. You got Sean Price at defensive end. You got Rip Saragusa at the D tackle position. Travis Jones D tackle position. Defensive end, you got Michael Boulware. What they did was they wanted to get fast up front, fast and physical, and on defense, and they did exactly that. Offensively, they're looking to match that exactly with the same thing, man. They want to build, from within. They want that offensive line. They went and drafted the running back Anthony Israel. And Max, they're calling him one of the best running backs in the league, man. How do you feel about Harbaugh's statement of saying that?
I definitely think it's accurate. then they made a move like trading JK at one point, leaving just AI and Gus the Bus, I believe, in the backfield before they acquire Hanif Anderson to kind of complement that. And that right there is just, to me, a well-renowned, backing of your move as far as, or your statement of, claiming you have one of the best running backs in the league. You put him in a situation where he gets to prove that week in and week out. Um, and has been a respected name in the league at the top of the leaders basically for now, what, back to back 2 seasons.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They didn't just attack AI in the backfield. They went and drafted family members too. This whole offensive line is full of four Israels on that offensive line. Two rookie tackles, two second-year player and guards, and Lindenbaum at center that they drafted in the first round with Kyle Hamilton. All right, so let's talk about the weapons. Obviously, when you talk about the Ravens, we know what type of run game they have. They have been in the top three for the last 3 seasons. But the question is always around who's the receivers over here and if they have a true number one. Has that question been answered?
Uh, I think so. I think Bateman has shown game in, game out that he can always be, a go-to guy, one of Lamar's favorite weapons. And then, some people will have the argument that Pizzle's a season away from necessarily literally claiming his, wide receiver one role per se. Shit, tight end likely might have something to say. He might be trying to bring out the Kittle type of offense, where not Kittle, the Kelsey type of offense, where shit, I'm a tight end, but I'm wide receiver one as far as options go. They
Right.
got plenty of weapons over there. I think they kind of they've done it quickly, but thoroughly. Keeping the Bateman inspired, having Pizzle the next year, and then now another year you bring in Vic and Likely. So it's like, well, Vic, and then to complement Likely, who was there the year before. So it's well, 2 years before. So it's like, they just kind of, like I said, that's the thoroughness, keeping that 2 years down, 1 year down, add another 3 years in from the beginning with Bateman, 2 years for Pizzle. It complements, the 1 year, White Mike's and Vic's very well, to kind of have that stability from the other guys that know the Ravens way.
In their last draft, these guys, they acquired the number one pick, and they went after the number one tight end to them in the draft. They went and got a super athlete at the tight end position, on which in the GM room, DaCosta traded uh, Mark Andrews. Um, First of all, let's talk about that trade and that statement going along with Michael Vick's little nephew and Tyrone Vick at the number one pick tight end. They were slow out the gates with him. Harbaugh was quoted on saying, we wanted to make sure he understood the Ravens way before we put him on the field to show what he can do as a player. He's not only a weapon. He is a transcendent weapon. Probably one of the fastest tight ends in the league. They drafted a tight end that had 4.3 speed. Big size, man. The guy can actually, he's not the greatest blocker, but does a better job in the blocking department than Mark Andrews did for this team. Um, wh- when did you realize, that Mark Andrews will be traded from this team, and when did the process step up for you in your opinion of watching the Ravens play? When did you see that they were ready to make that move and name in Tyrone Vick as their number one tight end?
Um, Necessarily didn't know when the move would be ready. That's why we just stayed adamant on it, stayed in the GM's, um, stayed in their ear kind of about Mark Andrews. When did we start looking at him? Last season. I would say towards the end of the season, we started looking at them, and just kind of watching the games. We just started to see how explosive they were in other categories. That it wasn't like they would not need an Andrews, but when they confirmed and kind of got even more explosive at the tight end area, it was like, oh, okay, the offense is kind of taking a different, just a little bit different pasture than the standard Mark Andrews, but yeah, we still might assume they were going to leave him there just, because he knows that Ravens way, Lamar's, go-to guy um, at any given point in the game. So, we just kind of waited that out, and, that was the consistency part in the back end. But we didn't necessarily know when we first acquired that he would eventually be actually available. It was kind of just shooting in the dark for that one a litlo bit.
Lamar Jackson losing his favorite target of Mark Andrews. You know, the bigger picture was we have weapons, right, and those weapons have to be a part of our success. They gotta be able to make plays, and we need them to make plays. And we thought, getting rid of a Mark Andrews, although it was hard because Lamar Jackson, again, that's his favorite target, but it opened the offense up even more now. I think at any given Sunday or any given advance, any one of those targets can be the better target in the game versus, Mark Andrews being the guy that got majority of the targets in the pass game. Now it's a wide open offense. So tell me how that helps Lamar Jackson on his path to trying to win a Super Bowl.
I think it just allows him to go next level, do more of what uh, do like a little bit more just general disguising because nobody really has a lot of a lot of tape, a lot of mo on these tight ends because they've been looking at Mandrews and kind of tying Mandrews to the old Ravens offense, I would say, well, partially old Ravens offense. I don't think the new weapons that they have kind of intrudes for the new Ravens offense that's coming in. um, they're really balanced in between like old school and new school right now, and I think they doing that just through the personnel that they have. It allows them to do both.
All right, their running back is the number one rusher right now. He's leading in rushing yards, not by much. You got Keontae Ingram right behind him with 1330, and AI has 1371. He's averaging 6.3 yards a carry, only 9 touchdowns on the year, but 138 yards a game. Um, would you say that this offense is still run committed, run heavy, where they really run their offense through the run game first?
I would still say so. That's part of like why I said that the Ravens way is still punch you in the mouth and then finesse. They're punch you in the mouth first and then finesse, whether that be bombs over Baghdad, Marmar running, um, utilizing wide receivers on just anything that they really want to, throwing tight ends, motion this and motion that, tight ends in the slot, two tight end set. Like that's when they can start doing finesse. But their morale or their start to every game mentally is to punch you in the mouth and see, if you're gonna fold or if you're gonna stand up and fight back.
No doubt. All right, so Tyrone Vick again being the number one pick in the draft of the second draft, the class that we had, right? It took him a little while to get going again, and again Harbaugh explained, they wanted him to be accustomed with the Ravens way, and they didn't want Lamar Jackson to what they saw in practice with Tyrone Vick was, a improved version of what Mark Andrews was. This guy, 6'6", 270 pounds. He's bigger than Mark Andrews, way faster than Mark Andrews, and dealing with a pretty much of a guy that got wide receiver tendencies at the tight end position. Um, but he took a little while. Max, they didn't get him started right away in his career. Like you look at the first couple of games, he wasn't even active. So against the Colts, he didn't see the field or make a play. Against the Bengals, week 2, week 3 against the Commanders, did not see the field. But since then, starting with week 4 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 8 catches, 167 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think that was the statement game. That game right there let us know, what type of actual weapon they actually have at the tight end position. And it was the game after the Raiders game where they were comfortable to start making a conversation about trading Mark Andrews. In the Raiders game, he had 4 catches, 50 yards. With the backup quarterback on the field, he was the only person that actually caught a pass in that game. 2 catches for 20 yards against the Bills in that loss. That we'll come back and talk about with the Ravens losing to the Bills with their only loss on the year so far. Then in the Cowboys game, 3 catches, 59 yards, and a touchdown. 5 catches in the Steelers game, 63 yards. And then his last 2 games, he's been the forefront of what they got going on offensively. He had another 3 touchdown performance game against the Browns, 7 catches, 161 yards. And then last week against the Bengals, 6 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. He's arrived, right? It's safe to say that.
Yeah, he's alive, showing that it wasn't a mistake at all trading Mark Andrews, but be able to rest assured that you got a guy that can really go in there and make a difference.
All right, so he's holding on to 8 touchdowns this year. Their number one receiver, Rashad Bateman, 8 touchdowns as well. The diaper Danny, the kid that nobody expected, he came into the league as one of the fastest. It was 2 kids in this draft that, Tyreek Hill speed that came out of this draft with 4.22, 4.21 type speed. Mike McEwen was one of them. The other one is playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 32 catches, 421 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he wasn't even looked at as a guy that was going to do more than just play special teams. What's the reason why Mike McEwen has emerged into this offense and kind of pushed Duvernay to the backside, and is looking like it's a Vic Bateman McEwen season right now, with Pizzle and Duvernay, who's had tremendous years over the last 2 seasons, last 2 to 1 season, because Pizzle was only in his second year. Why is it now that what are they seeing with the Mike McEwen kid, White Mike?
Um, just grit, I think. The desire to want to be on the field, uh, and that means a lot just early for the Ravens organization.
When you're dealing with the weapons that this Baltimore Ravens team acquired, a lot of guys. You look throughout the league and you see receiving rooms and backfields and things of such. The Ravens has put themselves in a situation when this talent grows up. Because you're looking at, Rashad Bateman's 24 years old. You're not looking at a bunch of old receivers. I think Duvernay is their oldest receiver in the receiving room. My question to you is how, when you have this much talent at at these skill positions, how do you allow, that talent to show itself, and not only show itself, but be a vital part in your victories on the season? I think when you have, weapons the way, Baltimore has, when you look through the league, it's not, the weapons are everywhere. Guys got them. The main question to guys that have weapons like this, like this Baltimore Ravens team, is how to involve those weapons, right? Where you used to seeing year in and year out, you got multiple receivers with 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns, things like that. So the Ravens are accustomed to being able to get multiple players involved in their offense. But for it to translate to winning Super Bowls, you got to better manage that talent, understand when a guy's time is up with us and when a guy's time is now with us. And then you look through the receiving room right now, you see, they are invested in their two rookies, Mike McEwen and Tyrone Vick, but that doesn't mean that Devin Duvernay time is out now, right? Most people would think that, right? After Pizzle had a great rookie year, in his first season with the Ravens, a pretty solid rookie year, 48 catches, 903 yards, 16 touchdowns. And in the receiving room where you had three other guys that had 1,000 yards plus double-digit touchdowns as well. Now 14 catches, 328. You might see that he's falling to the backside. Well, it's not really that case. What they're doing is they're building and developing their younger talent right now, where guys are already developed in the Pizzle and the Duvernay. So you got guys now that need to be developed over here, and they're doing a good job of that while maintaining, their win average. Baltimore's doing a good job of still being able to win ball games. Again, their only loss on the season was to the Buffalo Bills. They went into Buffalo and had to play with their backup quarterback. And it showed. So it really showed how important Lamar Jackson is still to this team. They are building around Lamar Jackson. In real life, they question, oh, they don't got a number one target. Well, they definitely got him targets over here. They got him receiving threats. So he's not handicapped at all, like through the run game and through the receiving game. So Lamar throwing the football is a good thing over here with the weapons he has. He has no, shortage of weapons. And with that being said, when you got a quarterback, a franchise quarterback, you got to have weapons of protection. They did both while they're developing their young offensive line right now. They're doing a pretty good job of managing that. You got the two, looking at the tackles, rookie Buda Israel gave up 5 sacks on the season right now. But then outside of that, that's it. And then center Linderbaum has given up a couple sacks to Joe Jones. Actually, their sacks are down from the year before. So the offensive line is there. The weapons are there. And they're doing a good job. I don't know what they are ranked offensive yards, fifth in the NFL right now. Really doing a pretty good job there. Defense yards, not showing the rank. I want to see what their production is for points. They're fourth in the league in points offensively. So they're doing a pretty good job offensively, third points allowed in the NFL on defense. But when you talk about Baltimore and when we talk about the franchise of the Baltimore Ravens, it starts with that defense and what they got going on over there on the defensive side of things right now. And the one thing we will say is that this team gives any team hell when it comes down to getting after the quarterback and playing really good in the run game right now. You're looking at, tackle for losses, Oway with 29, Jabo with 20. They following up the seasons they had the year before. You got Michael Boulware stepping up after his rookie year with 16 tackle for losses. Their D tackle Rip Saragusa with 10. They're getting after it. They're getting to the quarterback and they're turning the ball over. The one thing that makes this defense pretty good is one, they get after the quarterback with a Adolphe Oway and a Jabo. They really get after it. You would like to see a lot more production out of the other guys on that front four. Getting after the quarterback, you see a whole bunch of guys with 2 or 1 sack, but we want more out of that. But then in the interception game, doing a pretty good job here with Kyle Hamilton, their first round pick at safety, sitting with 9, and then you got their secondary is doing pretty good as well. But what makes this team really good on defense is the turnovers that they cause, and not just through the interception game. They definitely cause a lot of fumbles, and then they take shit back to the crib. Right now, Jabo has 4 to the crib. They got multiple guys with touchdowns on defense right now, so their defense is producing points for sure, which is making them one of the top defenses in the league right now. You got 4 return touchdowns out of David Ajabo, Tyson Reed 1, you got Rip Saragusa 1, Cal Hamilton 1, Marlon Humphreys and Lenny Lamb all have returns for touchdowns right now. Listen, my job with the Hard Knock series is to pick teams each week, and then we'll dive into their team and what they got going on. This team is on a high trajectory. They should be successful. This is one of the teams that should be favored as to get to a Super Bowl. Simple as that. Now, will they get to it? That determines on how well they play down the stretch. But with that being said, everything is adding up to those guys being at a high level, being one of the better teams in the league right now. Guys are up for awards, things like that. But for the Baltimore Ravens to actually do what they're destined to do, which is try to get to a Super Bowl and win one, they have to get out of their own way. They have to continue to play the way they play now and allow that to be their identity. Their identity on offense is the run game and through Lamar Jackson. And on defense, it's the apply pressure, man. Pressure bust pipes. These guys want to be in your face and they want you to make mistakes, and they want to come at you at all forces through all 3 levels, from the front 4 to the linebacker level to the safety, all the way back deep to the safety level. So they're on course right now. They're doing what they need to be doing to be where they are right now. And we should, be looking at one of the teams that should have something to say before it's all said and done. All right, Series 1 Hard Knocks. Baltimore Ravens, welcome to Charm City. Season 1, Episode 2. Now, remember, there's 2 parts to this because we will come back with the footage of the conversation I'm having with y'all today about the Baltimore Ravens, and then we're going to put some, game footage behind that. That'll come back later on within next week, sometime next week. Later on, the video will be all the way complete and done. And while we're doing that, we're going to go into the next team. Now, how we're going to pick what teams we talk about or highlight next, that's going to be Max's conversation. Again, we're dealing with a co-host that will disappear on you in a heartbeat, so I don't even know if he's still there paying attention. I know he got a game to play.
I text you.
All right, so who's our next team we going to? Hard Knock Season 1, Episode 2. Who's the next team we're going to be talking about?
Chicago Bears.
We want to go right to the Bears. I like that. What was the reason why you picked the Bears next?
Literally just watched the game the other day. I think that Justin Fields is playing really well. I think the coach is kind of pulling it together. The Bears are not a sexy team to start with at first, and they've somewhat made that, a really competitive team that's out there doing some good things. So I think it's just, a good team. We did AFC first, figured I'd bounce back, go NFC. I think it's a team worth looking into.
All right, so Soldier City, that's what we're going to call them, man. Chirac, Episode 2. Hard Knocks, man. Again, 2 parts to this. You will see video footage of the team play, things that they got going on game-wise and all that. And when we get on Episode 2 and we talk to the Chirac Bears, we're going to talk to the coach as well. We'll do some interviews with that, too. So be prepared, fellas, when I come talk about your team. I'm expecting to interview you as well. to get your input and not just our opinion. Other than that, and it's the franchise guru Hard Knocks. All right, just to talk about why I'm not giving out a gift for the commissioner week, because the whole purpose of the gift is for the league to get hit fast, right? And we didn't get to that. Like, we're still playing games well after the events, which is 7:30. So I don't know if I feel like being in a good mood. Maybe I will show love to the guys that did play the first top 8 that played their games. But as of right now, we did not meet the quota of what we're supposed to do when we do commissioner bye weeks, and that's just to get the league flying through the first week and showing that everybody's ready to play out, knocking their games out, and we move on to advance. There's no point of it being a commish bye week gift if we're still going to be advancing at the same pace we always advance at. That's the reason why I'm saying no to it. But I will take in consideration of what you guys are saying in the chat, and we'll go from there. So just be prepared for later on for Max to hit you up and let you know what's going on. Other than that, we're out of here. Next episode will be Real Talk, but the next season 1, episode 2 will be the Chirac Bears, Soldier City. Other than that, we're out of here.